I'm not entirely sure I know which direction to take this in, which is why I enjoy doing this, because it's not like I'm overthinking, you know, prior to coming into these sessions. It's more so just kind of like a fun exploration of whatever I'm thinking and feeling. Um, it's crazy to look at all the things that you grew up with that sincerely fucked you up. I was actually just telling my sweetheart about this um, on the phone yesterday. You know, I have very specific pursuits of endeavors, things that I'm trying to create and everything. And it's crazy to see the gravity that pulls you down, pulls you away from. Here's what I think is fascinating. I think that we have a tendency as a society and as a culture to look at people that are, fucking killing it every day and think there must be nothing dragging them back, right? There must be nothing pulling them to fucking hell, right? That couldn't be further from the truth. I don't remember when I heard this quote, but I thought this quote was very powerful. And this quote was, successful people are not people without problems. They're just people who know how to, handle their problems and resolve them. The opposite of that is people who have problems and do fucking nothing about them. They just don't do shit about them, and the problems just grow and grow and grow and grow and just fucking overwhelm the fuck out of your life. They boil over, they create even more problems because it's just like it's fucking crazy. But when you're aware of your problems, that's when things get different. That's when awareness. I think I remember Aaron Doughty saying this in one of his videos. He said, awareness is the key to transformation. Awareness, that's all that it is. Transformation requires awareness, and that's what I think is so interesting. So, like, becoming aware of your shit is like the first part. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's fucking cool. Like, I'm aware of my shit. I mean, I still have more things to explore, but I'm aware. And having that is powerful, because when you don't have that, think about it this way, right? If you're in a constant pursuit of something, right? Maybe you're in the dark. You feel like you're in the dark and you're shining the fucking light everywhere, right? You have your flashlight in your hand, you're shining your fucking light everywhere. When you're constantly like that, you're clearly looking for something. You're not aware of it. You're not. Maybe you know what it is that you're after. That's a different story. But I'm talking about awareness. You're either aware of yourself and your shit, or you're not. When you're fucking looking in the dark for, like, okay, there is turbulence in your life, right? And with that gives you a bit of insight regarding, okay, well, there's turbulence in my life. Therefore, there has to be root causes as to why this turbulence is being created in the first place. Everything has an origin. And so, like, it's interesting because I look at the way that people live their lives and everything, and I'm just always so baffled by how dumbfounded people are regarding, like, I have I have a very interesting outlook on all this stuff. But I'm genuinely baffled by how dumbfounded some people are, like, regarding, like, just a lack of awareness regarding themselves. Like, if you want to live a meaningful life, you have to be self-aware. And then once you're self-aware, you can actualize the fuck out of everything. Because then it's like, okay, well, now I know why I'm this way. Or maybe I don't know why I'm this way, but I understand that there's an issue. I understand that there's a problem. I understand that there's turbulence. I don't know. Like, awareness is key. And I think it's so crazy to look at that clearly and, like, understand, like, oh yeah, awareness is key. You're right. So then with that, you can, like, say for instance, like, okay, there's turbulence, right? If you're not actively looking at specific areas of your life and everything, if you're not exploring with a coach or, like a therapist, you're gonna have a much harder time at gaining insight and, like, resolve regarding the direction, like, what you need and everything. But I'm so fascinated because even a year ago, I wasn't here. Like, I was not aware of my shit. A lot has changed in my life over the past year. Um, Pretty much around the time that I met my sweetheart last year. Um, yeah, it's just like it's very interesting. So here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to explore. Here's what I've been thinking and feeling, because I've been thinking a lot about human potential and everything. And it's interesting to talk about it because actually, my sweetheart was saying to me, she was like, it's so interesting your approach here with me, because here's what I'm going through, and all that you're looking at is what can be. And I think that throughout my life, I have looked more at potential than anything else. I'm very fascinated by human potential. Um, Unactualized potential scares the shit out of me. It's like, and for some people, it's right in front of their fucking faces, right in front of their fucking faces. For other people, they've got to fucking dig. They've got to do some deep fucking work, and that's okay. What matters is that you become aware. Um, and so like closely looking at yeah, I mean, she and I were talking about that, because she's like, things are going to be different in the future, and I was like, I know. I, I see it. I already see it. Like, I have that projection. I see. I can't call it clairvoyance, but I see. Like, I'm focused. I accept what is, but I focus on what can be. That's a good way to put it. um and I'm really happy with where I am, because a lot of shit has been uncovered in my life. Um, and it's just really cool to like see life from that perspective, because it changes the dynamics of how you approach everything moving forward. Um, so yeah, like, I feel like there are different stages of the process. Like, you're either completely unaware of your shit and you're just repeating, unhealthy, toxic patterns and cycles and everything, and that's just fucking you up and bringing you back to the same fucking bullshit over and over again. Or you're in therapy. I mean, you don't have to always be in therapy for this to happen, but you do something that helps you become aware of the very fucking reason why all these patterns and cycles are occurring and reoccurring and everything. And then you have that like aha moment and everything. And then at some point you kind of make your way. I realize I'm doing this backwards, but whatever. um yeah, let's do it this way. So you're either completely unaware of your, like, you're here or even beyond. You're unaware of your shit, right? um this would actually be really fun to explore with my sweetheart. I think I'm gonna do that. Cool. um yeah, so you're either here and you have a lot of fucking shit, but you're just like, and it could be right in front of your fucking face, but you're just in fucking la la land with, you know, a bunch of filters and illusions just covering up the fact that everything's fucking shit. So you're there, and you're just repeating the same patterns and cycles over and over and over again. Or you do something that gets you to become aware of this and why things have been this way for so long. Then once you're here, then you have the ability to, I'm going to bring Dr. Joe Dispenza in here. You have the ability to be like, oh, okay, so none of that ever had anything to do with me. That was all really just projections from other people. You step out of that and you step into this space, and you're seeing things clearly. And then what you can do is you can step into this next space, and this next space is all about, okay, let's get fucking uncomfortable, because I realize who and what I want to be. And that requires to step into the unknown, to step into the unfamiliar. And that's some really interesting territory. Yeah, and narratives are going to be challenged. Everything you thought you were is going to be challenged, and it's important to allow that to be challenged, because when you can allow that to be challenged, shit gets really fucking cool. Like, for instance, I grew up with parents who instilled ideas in me regarding who I was as a person. For a long fucking time, I was just like, okay, yeah, go ahead, say this, that, and the other to these people about me. I get high off of it for some fucking reason. It locks me into the past, which there's comfort there, familiarity, wonderful. No, at some point you've got to set the fucking boundaries. Listen, you need to stop saying that shit in front of me. You need to stop saying that shit to other people. I want nothing to do with it. That's the fucking boundary. And then you're stepping into the discomfort of the unknown, and that changes the dynamics of everything, because you're basically going back to what Aaron Dowdy said, shift, right? So there's a shifting. It's the story, you're healing the story, you're giving it a different meaning from what it previously had. And by the way, that meaning could be this, which is very powerful, by the way. One of the most important things that people need to understand is projections. They need to understand them and see them fucking clearly. Projections from other people. Like, for instance, if you were physically abandoned, or if you were emotionally abandoned as a kid, for a long time, you've probably taken that on yourself as you're just inherently fucking wrong and defective and lack, and you're a piece of shit, and that's why it all happened. No. What really happened was that your parent or somebody else was fucked up, and they projected their trauma onto you, which then fucked you up. So then the initial story was, okay, I'm inherently defective, right? Then, well, I'm inherently defective because this person fucking physically or emotionally abandoned me. Then you take that story, you take a clear fucking look at that story, and you go from the S, which is story, to the H, which is heal. Okay, you're going to heal that story, which means you're going to give it a different meaning. And you're doing that in a real way, because what you're doing is you're saying, actually, that shit never had anything to do with me. That was my parents' shit. That was this other person's shit. And then therefore it's like, aha, that takes the weight off of me. There's nothing actually defective about me. I don't fucking lack anything. I'm not inherently a piece of shit. So actually I can take that weight off, give that back to that person. Hey, you know. Anyway, and it just goes from there. So like, then like you can step into the unknown and stuff and be like, oh wow, like all of this bullshit, all of this mental and emotional weight that I've been carrying around for fucking eons never had fucking anything to do with me. And that's a really cool space to be in. So yeah, that's basically what it's all about. It's really cool to be looking at life from the standpoint of, wow, I've never been here before. I'm aware of my shit. I understand what to do with my shit. I'm healing the stories, the narratives, the meaning of my shit. And that's really changing the outcome of everything, because it's like, you know, for instance, something that I mean, I don't know if I should talk about. I was gonna mention something that my sweetheart and I talk about. You know, I'll just say this. On the subject of deserving, it is fucking crazy to be able to look at a past idea that you held for yourself, right? I don't deserve that or this because of that. Because I grew up believing this about myself. You know, regarding trauma and everything. It's fucking cool to be able to take that layer off and to be like, oh wow, because that never had anything to do with me. I actually am very deserving of this, that, and the other. Cool. Wonderful. Those epiphanies, those realizations, they challenge everything, and they make you see things clearly. And that's just fucking cool.